What's up, people? Welcome to my kitchen. This is Tommy. If this is your first time of seeing me, welcome. Today, we are doing something very different. I'm going to be cooking egusi soup. For those that don't know, I'm cooking from my kitchen in Canada. And of course, you know the way it is, things are different. The way I cook here is different from the way I cook in Lagos. But first, let me start with my meat. I have some beef and some goat meat. They cut it into different parts, so I don't even know which is which. I just like put everything all together. So I'm just going to be seasoning it. I have some chicken seasoning cubes which I used. I'm going to be using onions as well. I know some people will say when you're cooking soup, don't add onions, but guys, this is not how I cook. Okay, it depends on you. It depends on your preference. I really cannot do without putting onions in my meat anytime I am boiling it. So I'm so used to doing that. I added some salt. I added some thyme as well. And I'm just going to be using some garlic powder, some ginger powder, some onion salt as well. Don't worry. Don't be scared because of all those plenty spices you are seeing. I know you will be like, these spices are too much now. To me, what are you trying to do? But I'm going to be seasoning it like I want it to enter very, very well. And this is not the only meat I'm going to be like boiling. I just want this one to like cook through like for some time. Then afterwards, I'm going to be adding some tripe to it. I'm going to be using some tripe. That is what we call shaki in like Nigeria. This is like offals. The tripe is offals, and this beef or the goat meat is the regular meat that we're all used to. So I added some more seasoning because I just remembered I was going to be adding a lot of more meat and I didn't want to add like more seasoning later on. So I'm going to allow this to cook in its own juice. This makes it like well marinated without you like leaving it out to marinate for a long time. So I usually try doing this process and it helps me and it comes out very beautifully and very, very tasty. So cooking it in its own juice will be for about 5 to 10 minutes. The water would like come out very well. This is just the water from the meat. I've not added any water to it. I forgot to add that I added some chili flakes as well. I like when it is like a bit spicy. I don't like very spicy food, but I don't like when it is like totally bland. So, like I said, I have added a lot more shaki to this. By the end of this video, you'll see all what I'm using this meat for. This meat is not just for this egusi soup. It's too much now, guys. Some people like it, but I also want to see soup apart from my meat and all that. So to make the process easy for me, I decided to boil all my meat together. Then later on, I'll be separating it for whatever I want to use it for. I later on made like vegetable soup. I made some stew as well. So I just decided to like cook all the meat together so that it will be easy for me by the time I am cooking every other thing. So these are the vegetables I'm going to be using. I brought this one from Nigeria. This is the dried ugu. I'm sure if you're Nigerian, you're familiar with ugu. And I'm using kale. I bought the kale here in Canada. I just bought this one from the grocery store. It cost about like $3 or something. I can't even really remember, to be very honest. But this is kale. I used to use kale back home in Nigeria. I have never used it for a goosey soup. I just wanted to try it out. Oh my god, you won't even see the difference. Like it was so tasty. I wish you could taste it from me cooking it. So I have some stock fish. These are some of the I had this beef. I brought this beef from it's goat meat, grilled goat meat. I brought that from Nigeria. If you've seen my video where I brought food from Nigeria, you will have seen where I brought some meat and all that. So that was the last one left. It was already like these tiny, tiny pieces. I was like, this one will not be enough for like normal food. Let me just put it in my soup, and that's what I did. So you can see that my meat is ready. I'm going to be using some of the meat water. I've brought out some of the meat, like for the egusi soup in particular. I'll be reserving the others for like other soups I'm going to be making. At this point, I added some crayfish. I love crayfish. I put crayfish in almost anything that I cook, almost anything. The taste it gives it is amazing. So I added some of the meat water. I added a little bit of water as well, and I'm adding my egusi powder now. You can see it has lumps. This method I use it when I don't want to like have the very, very lumpy egusi and I don't want to fry it. Like cooking is universal. You can cook however you like. Like just for me, whenever it comes out right, it is good. Anytime I make egusi this way, even my mom is always like, told me, what did you add to this stew? And I do it like this. So I didn't fry the egusi. I just added it to that meat that was already boiling, and I'm just like tossing it to and fro gently. It still came out as lumps. Trust me, I didn't like over like crush it or something because I still wanted it to have that lumpy feel of egusi, but at the same time not too loose, if you understand what I mean. And it was getting so thick, so I just kept on adding more water, more water. I tasted it at this point and I felt it needed a little bit of more salt. I added more salt. Please, this one is for me. If you don't like a lot of salt, you can reduce it. If you like more salt, you can increase it. The seasoning I put earlier was just for the meat. Now I have to put enough seasoning for my soup as well. And I put as much as I wanted. I stirred everything well. I wanted the egusi to cook a little bit more. And at this point, it was already cooked, but I just wanted it to simmer a little bit more so that it was completely cooked. And I loved what I was getting. So I added some more fish, some catfish, some smoked catfish. I brought all this from Nigeria and some pomo. The pomo was dried pomo that I brought from Nigeria, but I washed it very well, removed all the dirt and everything. I am adding palm oil at this point. It is kind of getting cold in Canada now, so the palm oil at this point is already like getting solid. So that was why I put it close to my stove so that it could be loose and I could add it very well. So I've added my palm oil to my egusi now and everything is done. The last thing to add will be my vegetables. This is the kale vegetables. I shredded it. Look at the way it looks so green. I was loving it. But because I was adding some more vegetables, I wanted this one to cook on its own first before adding the other ones, if you understand what I mean. So this one looks like very, very fresh vegetable. I wanted it to cook on its own and I left it for about 3 minutes. Then I now went ahead with the dried ugu. What I did for the ugu was that I actually made the ugu to like soak in some water because I didn't eat that dried form was not going to be very nice. So I soaked it in some water. I squeezed out the water and then to make it a little bit like more fresh. And that was when I now went ahead to add it to my other vegetables and everything like that. So this was me just combining it. I have never tried it this way before, combining dried ugu and like kale vegetable. But you have to improvise. This is not the regular thing you're used to. I have used kale for like normal vegetable soup, like just vegetable soup, plain vegetable soup back home. But I've never added it to egusi. And guys, there was no difference. Like at the end of the day, what do you want to eat? You just want to eat like good soup and all that. I added some more liquid. I didn't want it to be so dry because I still like when it has a little bit of moisture and all that. And at this point, it was already cooked. I had turned off my cooker, I had turned off the stove, and my egusi soup was ready. I left it to simmer a little bit more. I kept adding water, but it was like the egusi I added was actually a lot. So it depends on anybody that is eating it. I know the person I was making it for, and I know myself as well. I like when I have a little bit of liquid. Some people do not like so much. So just feel free to experiment. The crux of this video is that don't be limited. From your African store, wherever you are, even if you're in Nigeria, try this already, guys. This was so good. I loved it so much. I'll be trying this combo next time. So even if I don't have like the dried ugu leaves, I'll use my plain kale leaves or any other thing like that. And this was the end when I had finished everything. Don't forget to subscribe. I also made a video of how I made this vegetable soup. I'll be showing you the leaves I made as well. I made this tuna sauce for like rice, and I also made some stew as well. I was still making stew. You can remember I made a lot of meat at the beginning, so the remaining meat I used it for this stew and for the vegetable. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Kindly share, kindly subscribe. Love you guys. Bye.